Amidst the allegation that several countries from around the world had tried to influence the outcome of Canadian election, there was a public hearing commission which was formed by the Justin Trudeau government, which is currently testifying several former bureaucrats and diplomats who were on the key positions during the time for which these complaints or allegations have been made. Several of them have denied charges or allegations that Indian government or Indian agencies were involved in any disinformation or any otherwise campaign which would influence the Canadian elections process. Several of these officers have testified. The testifying process is ongoing, but on 8th, these testifications were being done when former Deputy Foreign Minister Marta Morgan and former Cabinet Secretary Janice Charette, these two clearly denounced any possibility or any allegations that Indian agencies were trying to influence because of the huge diaspora base. These allegations have been made in the past also that India did try to influence the outcome of Canadian election. But now the testimony comes amidst this heightened security and public inquiry into foreign interference by these several allegations that have been made by political parties, by agencies, by media regulators. And during the hearing, the panelists were asked that they find any evidence that Indian government tried to influence the diaspora, tries to influence the voting pattern, and several of them have said, especially the former cabinet secretary, that is one of the senior most bureaucratic posts, which directly reports to the prime minister. She said that I do not believe during the 2021 election that we saw evidence of the government of India using those tools in campaign. These tools means any means or any mechanism that could influence the voter turnout or voter behavior or campaigning process that was going on. And panelists also testified that they uncovered no trace of Indian disinformation in the Canadian information ecosystem during the 2021 election process. And there was no information suggesting that there was disinformation originating from that source in the Canadian information ecosphere during that period. This is what Marta Morgan said, the former head of the diplomatic corps in the Canadian system, if you could say. She was Deputy Foreign Minister during 2021 when she was also part of the panelists who were overseeing the entire political process. And these two most senior bureaucrats have now debunked the theory that India was trying to influence the Canadian election. India's Ministry of External Affairs had earlier also tried to reject this entire allegation game, terming this entire allegation as baseless on February 8th, when CNN News 18 had asked this question to Minister of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal. He had said that these allegations are baseless. India did not have any role in Canada's elections. He said it is not government of India's policy to interfere in democratic process of other countries. In fact, quite on the reverse, it is Canada which has been interfering in our internal affairs. We have been raising this issue regularly with them, and we continue to call on Canada to take effective measures to address our core concern. So we know that India-Canada bilateral ties have not been doing good in the last several months, and there's a lot to do with the domestic political process, domestic electioneering process of Canada as well. There is this Khalistani sentiment which the current incumbent government is trying to always whip up or keep intact, and possibly that is a huge vote bank politics that they try to align with themselves in order to keep themselves afloat in the seat of power in Canada. This is what Justin Trudeau government has trying to do for the past several months, and this is what External Affairs Minister has also alleged, that the entire Khalistani movement or the anti-India element, which is now being accommodated, given a very free run kind of a space in Canada's political and social and economic sphere, is not because the agencies cannot work against them. It's also because there is a political vote bank, there is a political viability and support that they extend to the incumbent government, as these elements are not being acted upon with the kind of agency that the government should have worked. There is a clear-cut divide. There is a clear anti-India propaganda that these elements have been doing, and this narrative that India was trying to influence the political outcome of the entire electioning process of 2019 and 2021 was one such allegation which was being leveled against India. But with the latest hearing going on and several senior bureaucrats themselves denying any evidence or any possibility of India trying to influence the outcome or India trying to influence the voting pattern or any disinformation. In fact, no funding was also that there was no funding that Indian agencies or Indian government was trying to extend to influence the outcome of the Canadian election. That is also one of the senior bureaucrats has testified in front of the public hearing commission, and with the hearing that will continue to go on for a few more days before it will go for the second round of hearing that will happen in the later part of the year, and the final outcome will be out by 31st of 2024. So for the next 6 months these hearings are ongoing, and the various testification will happen. Various diplomats, various bureaucrats, and all the stakeholders who used to be part of some policy making, a part of overseeing the entire election process, they will be testifying in front of the commission, and all the theories that which all countries try to influence the Canadian politics, that will be judged, assessed, and accordingly the commission will file its report. But for now, it looks like the Indian side, the allegation of India's involvement in Canada's internal politics, doesn't hold any ground because of the senior bureaucrats, senior diplomats debunking all those narrative and saying that there was no evidence that any disinformation campaign was coming or emanating from Indian government's side.